My beloved child, pause for a moment. Don't move. Don't blink. And please, don't skip, because what you are about to hear is not a coincidence. It's not random, and it's not something that reached you by accident. This message arrives at a precise moment in your life, because something has been spoken about you in silence. Something unexpected. Something that was never meant to reach your ears. And yet, here you are, listening. Stay with me until the very end, because every second you remain here, the truth steps closer into the light, and once you hear it fully, you will never look at yourself the same way again. My beloved child, listen closely. Someone has been watching you, not loudly, not openly, not in a way that would ever expose them. They have been watching you quietly. They noticed the way you wear your clothes, but not in the way you imagine. They weren't judging fashion. They weren't counting trends. They weren't measuring effort. They were reading energy. They noticed the confidence you don't speak about, the calm strength you carry without showing off, the softness you protect behind silence, the presence you walk with without realizing how powerful it is. And the moment they finally spoke about it, the room changed. My beloved child, stay with me, because what they said next wasn't casual conversation. It wasn't a compliment meant to impress. It landed heavy. They said, the way they dress, it's not just style. And immediately, people felt it. They leaned in, because something about the tone was different. They continued, it feels intentional. Even when they're not trying. Silence followed. Not awkward silence. Recognizing silence. Because everyone there realized they had felt the same thing about you, but never had the courage or awareness to say it out loud. My beloved child, don't scroll. They went deeper. They said, their clothes speak before they ever open their mouth. That sentence stayed suspended in the air. Someone nodded unconsciously. Someone shifted their posture, because deep inside, they knew it was true. They said the way you choose colors, comfort, simplicity, or boldness, every small detail, reveals something unfolding in your life right now. Not someday, not in the distant future. Now, they said your appearance carries a story you've never told anyone. A story written through survival, growth, resilience, and quiet transformation. A story you may not even realize you've been writing. And then came the line that stopped everything. You have no idea how powerful you look without trying. My beloved child, take a breath, because it doesn't stop here. They said when you enter a room, attention follows, even if people pretend it doesn't. They said some look away on purpose. Some keep their eyes down. Some act uninterested. But later, their thoughts return to you. They said something about you stays. They said something big is approaching your life. And then they said something that confused some, but chilled others. They said, your clothes already know it. That sentence lingered, because those who understood energy understood exactly what that meant. They said the universe speaks through subtle shifts, through habits, posture, presence, and appearance. They said people often begin to dress differently when their inner world starts changing. And lately, yours has. Not louder, not flashy, not forced, stronger. They said you're dressing like someone preparing for something you haven't consciously named yet. Like someone stepping into a new chapter without announcing it. Like someone quietly upgrading their life from the inside out. My beloved child, stay with me, because this is where the truth becomes uncomfortable. The same person lowered their voice. They said, this isn't normal attention. The room felt heavier. They continued, this is destiny brushing past them. That word, destiny, shifted everything, because destiny is never casual. They said when they look at you, they don't see ordinary. They don't see average. They don't see forgettable. They see alignment. They said your style reflects someone shedding an old version of themselves without drama. Someone stepping into a higher timeline quietly, gracefully. And then came another revelation. They said someone far away has been watching you. Not recently, not casually, for a while. They notice your photos. They notice your outfits. They notice your energy through a screen. And every time they see you, something inside them shifts. They don't understand it. They can't explain it. They just feel drawn. My beloved child, stay with me, because this is not coincidence. This connection, the one you don't see yet, is forming quietly, without noise, without rush, without confusion. They said your presence does something unusual to people. People don't just look at you, they feel something. They said your clothes make you look like someone not living an ordinary storyline, like someone whose life is about to turn sharply in a new direction. They said your appearance feels like preparation, preparation for better spaces, better conversations, better opportunities, better people. My beloved child, don't skip, because now the truth becomes undeniable. They said someone who watches you silently, never comments, never reacts, never makes it obvious, is deeply affected by you. They notice everything. They notice when you choose simplicity. They notice when you choose confidence. They notice when you appear calm. They notice when you appear radiant. They said this silent observer recently said something they weren't supposed to say. They said, their style tells a story, and I want to know that story. That sentence shook the room, because the person who said it is not ordinary. They carry influence. They carry authority. Their attention has weight, and yet, you are the one occupying their thoughts. They are trying to understand why your presence feels familiar, why it feels comforting, why it feels important. My beloved child, stay with me, because now comes the twist. They said sometimes people start dressing differently when their destiny shifts. Not consciously, naturally. They said yours is shifting now, and that's why your style has been catching the eye of someone who is about to step forward. Someone who feels something deeper than attraction, something they didn't plan, something they didn't expect. They said, this person dresses like someone who is about to be chosen. Silence followed, because everyone understood what that meant. You are no longer blending in. Your appearance is reflecting a future already forming. Your style is matching the energy of a life upgrade approaching faster than you realize. My beloved child, listen carefully. They said the attention on you isn't casual, it's personal. Someone watches you like you're the answer to a question they've carried for years. They notice when you wear bright colors. They notice when you choose calm tones. They notice when you post a photo and suddenly feel something stir inside them. And then came the line that struck like lightning. The way they dress makes me feel like I'm supposed to be part of their life. That confession wasn't planned. It slipped, and once spoken, it couldn't be taken back. They admitted your presence awakens memories, desires, possibilities they thought were long gone. They said your style reminds them of someone they once loved, or someone they always prayed to meet, and that realization frightened them, because suddenly you became impossible to ignore. They said, their outfits match the kind of person I asked God to bring into my life. My beloved child, that line revealed everything. They are not just noticing you. They are drawn, connected, repairing. They are thinking about you more than you know, imagining conversations, imagining moments. And yes, they are planning to act. They are waiting for the right moment. My beloved child, stay with me until the end, because this message reached you for a reason. To remind you that the way you carry yourself, your presence, your calm confidence, your quiet elegance, is not accidental. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, and others can feel it before you fully see it. So stay grounded, stay aware, because what has been watching you quietly is about to reveal itself. And when it does, everything changes. My beloved child, come closer and listen with your whole heart. What I am about to reveal is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not imagination. There has been movement around you, quiet movement, subtle energy shifts that you may have felt but couldn't fully explain. Something unseen has been aligning, and now the truth is beginning to surface. They spoke about you when they thought no one would notice. They spoke carefully at first, choosing their words, guarding their tone, but even in their restraint, something slipped through. They said your clothes make you look like someone who belongs in their life. Not just visually, not just aesthetically, but belonging in a way that feels natural, familiar, almost inevitable. They said you don't look like a stranger to them. You look like someone who fits into their world without effort, like someone whose presence doesn't disrupt their life, but completes it. My beloved child, understand this clearly. People do not say things like this lightly. When someone sees another person and feels alignment instead of curiosity, recognition instead of confusion, calm instead of chaos, that is not surface-level attraction. That is the soul responding. They admitted something else too. They said when they look at you, it feels like destiny is gently nudging them forward, not pushing, not forcing, just whispering, as if the universe itself is leaning close to their ear and saying, "Pay attention. This matters." And that is why they have been acting differently lately. You may have noticed it without realizing what it was. The lingering glances, the subtle shifts in their behavior, the way their attention finds you even when they try to look elsewhere. They have become more observant, more curious, more aware of your presence in the room, because someone is noticing you with intention now. Someone is thinking about you during moments they shouldn't be, in quiet spaces, in between conversations, in the pauses where the heart speaks louder than logic. Someone is preparing, slowly, cautiously, to step closer. But my beloved child, before we go further, stay with me. Do not rush. Do not scroll. Do not let your mind wander, because this is the moment the story tightens. This is where the energy becomes focused. This is where the clues stop floating and begin pointing towards something real. They tried to hide it at first. They told themselves it was nothing, that it would pass, that they were simply overthinking. They practiced calm expressions, neutral tones. They pretended you didn't cross their mind when you clearly did. But the truth has a way of slipping out. It always does. In a moment they didn't expect. In a room where they felt safe. Someone commented on the way you carry yourself, on your style, on your presence. And without planning to, they said something that stunned even themselves. They said, "Their style doesn't just attract me. It reminds me of what I've been missing." That sentence didn't land softly. It landed heavily, because that wasn't about clothing. That wasn't about taste. That was about an absence they'd been feeling for a long time. A space in their life they didn't know how to name. Until you appeared. That one line cracked something open inside them. Every mask they were wearing slipped just enough for the truth to be seen. This was not admiration. This was not coincidence. This was longing. They admitted more as the conversation continued. They said they replay images of you in their mind long after you're gone. Not in a dramatic way. In a quiet, private way. They notice the details you think no one sees. The way fabric moves when you walk. The choices you make without thinking. The confidence you wear without announcing it. They said the way you dress feels intentional, even when you don't mean it to be. Like you're expressing something deeper without words. And then came the sentence that changed everything. They said, "The way they present themselves makes me feel like they understand my soul without ever speaking to me." My beloved child, pause here. People do not feel understood by strangers unless something spiritual is happening beneath the surface. That kind of recognition bypasses logic. It goes straight to the heart. They continued, almost softer now. They said your presence makes them feel like you are someone they were meant to meet properly. Not briefly, not accidentally, not in passing, but fully. Those words didn't sound casual. They sounded heavy with meaning. They sounded like destiny pressing against their chest, asking to be acknowledged. And when someone in the room finally asked, "Who are you talking about?" they didn't answer. Instead, they smiled. Not a polite smile, not a forced one, a smile that carried warmth and fear and desire all at once. A smile that looked like someone guarding a secret connection they weren't ready to explain. My beloved child, that smile said more than words ever could, because it wasn't about if they feel something. It was about how deeply. After that moment, the atmosphere changed. People felt it. The room softened. The energy shifted. They became quieter, more reflective. Someone noticed and whispered, "Why do you react like this when it's about them?" And something happened then. A confession slipped out, not through speech, but through their eyes. Their gaze held a spark, the kind of spark that appears when someone is emotionally attached and terrified of admitting it. The kind of spark that shows up when the heart has already chosen, but the mind is still catching up. They tried to recover. They laughed lightly, changed posture, redirected the conversation, but the truth had already surfaced. Eventually, they spoke again. Their voice was different now, lower, sincere. They said, "Every time I see the way they dress, it feels like they're already part of my world, even if they don't know it yet." That sentence landed like a quiet revelation, because that wasn't curiosity, that wasn't interest, that was inclusion. They weren't imagining you entering their life. They already see you there. They feel like they know you without knowing you, like something about you fits into the future they secretly imagine for themselves. And then came the moment that froze everything. Someone smiled and teased gently. It sounds like you're describing your type. They didn't think. They didn't plan. They answered instinctively. Maybe I am. Silence followed, because with those 3 words, they exposed the truth. You are not just someone they notice. You are someone they desire, someone they admire, someone they are drawn toward emotionally, spiritually, deeply. The teasing stopped. The curiosity grew. Someone asked more directly, then who is it? That's when panic met truth. Their lips parted. Your name, or at least the beginning of it, hovered in the air. They stopped themselves mid-breath, but it was too late. Their reaction betrayed them. Their eyes softened. Their shoulders dropped slightly. Their voice trembled, just enough to be noticed. Someone pressed gently. Why does this affect you so much? This time, they didn't deny it. They whispered, if I say their name, everyone will understand why I see them differently. That sentence struck the room like lightning, because it wasn't avoidance. It was protection. They weren't hiding confusion. They were guarding something meaningful. Then they spoke again. The way they dress, the way they carry themselves. It feels like we are already connected somehow. My beloved child, understand this. That is not observation. That is emotion. Their voice changed. Their energy shifted. Talking about you opened something inside them, something sincere, something vulnerable, something real. Someone finally asked the question that had been building all along. What do they make you feel? This time, they didn't smile. They didn't joke. They looked distant, like they were remembering every time they saw you, every detail, every moment your presence lingered. Then, quietly, they said the words that silenced everything. They make me feel like I'm home, not fashion, not style. Home, safety, familiarity, belonging. That is not a compliment. That is a confession. They weren't talking about what you wear. They were talking about what you awaken in them. Your presence, your energy, your calm power. That is why they notice you. That is why your name almost slipped out earlier. That is why they can't look away. Then someone asked one final question. What does their presence do to your heart? They didn't hesitate. They answered from the deepest place within them. Their presence makes my heart stop and breathe at the same time. The room froze, because that wasn't attraction. That was impact. They took another breath, shaky now, and continued. Whenever I see them, it feels like I'm meeting a part of my future. My beloved child, hear this clearly. This is not about attention. This is not about fantasy. This is recognition. Their heart reacted to you before their mind allowed it. And finally, with a soft smile they could no longer hide, they whispered the truth they had been running from all along. They don't even know it, but they're the person my heart has been waiting for. They never said your name. They didn't need to. Everyone already knew. And my beloved child, that person is you.